Here is my first weekly update video. So basically, what am I looking to do in these weekly update videos? So right now, I guess just to kind of clue you guys in on what's going on, maybe why you haven't been seeing as much player content specifically revolving around streams, we're currently in the process of upgrading our internet service provider to kind of allow for all of the players to be able to stream simultaneously while also playing the game. Right now, we're having a little bit of an issue, and just know that we're trying to pump out as much content as we can, specifically revolving around the Northern Lights. Episode 2 is already being edited. I've seen some of the preview footage of it already, and it's awesome. One thing that our team in particular is really good about is kind of developing our brand not only as a team, not only as an organization, but just simply like the players and staff, which is one thing for myself personally that I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to break the mold a little bit of how coaches or just staff in general develop their content. Typically right now you see coaches kind of make content around VOD reviews. I personally am looking to challenge myself in terms of developing content by just trying to be as transparent with the fans and being as insightful as possible without revealing as much information as I can. Me personally, I'm the type of guy that at least likes to keep information close to the chest. I think that information is king, especially in a game that's very I guess focused whenever it comes to support staff. Like I said, so since there aren't many support staffers out there that are creating content simultaneously while being on a team, it's really risky for someone, for a coach to basically put out pieces and like let the viewers pick their brain. But I think that there is a fine line that I can try and tread, or at least learn how to balance. So that's why I think like a weekly update will be really good. We'll just kind of play an opponent, and then I can just kind of give like maybe a little bit of insight into what we were looking to kind of execute against that team. Whenever our team is more developed and maybe we are focusing on like innovating strategies, then it'll be a little bit more difficult to kind of share like where we are as a team. But right now, one thing that I can confidently say is that we're just continuing to deepen our playbook. There's very specific strategies that we can kind of see and recognize that we want that for our gameplay to kind of cover some of our weaknesses or just simply play to our strengths. So we kind of are looking to use that to develop our team. And then alongside that, just really focus on fundamentals. That's one thing that we're still trying to figure out exactly where we need to improve on. It felt like against our first opponent, DZ, in the NAL, one of the fundamentals that we were stressing, which is just simply like trading, setting up crossfires, and really showcase on defense. But then whenever it came to attack, it seemed like some of our weaknesses that really shine through that has only come up recently, which is really interesting, is actually our utility clear. So that's going to be something that we focus on for practice this week. I think we're already starting to get better at it. We weren't exactly bad at utility clear before. We were actually, what I would say, one of the better teams at executing that. And then our crossfires and trade potential was actually really weak. So it's kind of interesting to see the inverse of that all of a sudden. But that being said, I think one thing that we're really good about is just kind of identifying our weaknesses early on, and then just being able to simply develop practice or develop a practice schedule around that. So that's probably cool for maybe you guys to know. But it's it's interesting as a coach because it's really hard to tell whether the defensive side of the game is struggling or whether it's the offensive side of the game. Like for example, one thing that's worthwhile to mention, heading into practice, or heading into the Pro-Am, our attack win rate was just insane in scrims. So that was something that we kind of noticed early on. But then as soon as we got to like game day, whenever teams are focused, you notice that there's a different type of energy when it comes to the match. Obviously that's, you go all out. In scrims, it's really easy to kind of like, slip by, maybe autopilot a little bit. But come game day, teams are definitely going full force. And that's whenever we kind of noticed our defenses were insane compared to some of the other teams. And then our attacks kind of faltered a little bit, which obviously is different than what I just mentioned in terms of practice, where our attacks were nuts and our defenses were slacking a little bit. So that's pretty cool. But if you noticed playing our opponent DZ, our defenses on coastline were actually really good, and then our attacks maybe faltered a little bit. So that's kind of interesting to kind of predict how game day is going to go for us whenever it seems as if heading into the game, our attacks are going to be excellent and then our defense are going to struggle. But then all of a sudden you get into the match and that doesn't seem to be the case. So that might just be something that I'll have to look out for. It's obviously been I guess you could call it a trend getting out of the Pro-Am. We noticed our defenses were better, our attacks were weaker. That usually happened for most of the teams. And then heading into NAL1, at least with us, we noticed that our defenses were still better, our attacks were still a little bit weaker. So hey, that's just something that we're gonna have to keep out for. We're already working on it, so we're excited for OSG week 2. Alrighty guys, so I guess that's just gonna be the end of the video. Be sure to check out Mirage's newly opened shop at mirage.gg. Just go ahead and navigate that to the Under Armour store and go ahead and I guess, buy some merch, use discount code GERA, and I will see you guys next week.